Hi friends, it's Sweet Melissa. Today is Friday, February 26th, 2021, and right now I'm sitting out in the middle of the bay, right off of Fort DeSoto, and we're headed out to Shell Key. I'm going to take you along with me. Let's go for a ride, in my kayak that is. There's part of my crew, kayaking friends, and a couple behind us. And we're kind of headed over there to that white sandy beach. Kinda. That's Shell Key. Look at all these beautiful white pelicans and other shorebirds. My friend Marsha is over here saying which ones they are. So we started our adventure way over there, around that area, and we're trying to get way over here, but I'm turned around and headed back there. Let me turn myself around. P. We made it to Shell Key. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Perfect day.
Yeah, it's perfect. Super smooth out there, right? So we're just making a pit stop here on this part of the island, and then we're gonna head out down that way, the Gulf side, right? So this is my friend Marsha, who is friends with my friend Chris. Take your oh my God, Chris, you cracked me up. So Marsha was our leader out here. Thank goodness Eric was not our leader. I'm just kidding.
Here we are.
There they are, friends for a long time. So Marsha, tell me a little bit about what you know about Shell Key.
Shell Key is a county preserve. It's in Pinellas County.
Oh,
It's very popular. You are allowed to camp out here, although they encourage you to carry everything off the island that you brought with you, inside or out.
okay.
You know what I mean? We camped along the beach facing the Gulf a couple of years, well, it's been 8 or 9 years ago now.
Oh, cool.
And we were here for 2 nights. It was New Year's Eve.
Oh.
And the squall blew in the second night.
Oh no.
I had one of those dome tents. It flew away.
Oh,
I didn't know where it went. I thought I was going to have to call the Coast Guard.
Oh my God.
This floating balloon-looking thing. It looked like paper mache, like you wrap around a balloon.
Oh my
and then you
God.
make the balloon.
That's too
It
funny.
turned out it had just flown over the dunes and was laying there upside down.
Oh.
But we were stuck out here for probably a total of 8 hours trying to figure out in what started out as 40-mile-an-hour gusts and came
Wow.
down about 20-mile-an-hour gusts, how we were going to get off the island.
Wow.
But that's when you find out who your true friends are and who you want to be with when you're kayaking and who you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yep.
we just passed the tide is not going to be a very high bump today. The high tide around 1:30 is only around a foot. And so there are sandbars exposed.
Yeah.
There's an amazing array of terns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And skimmers and oyster catchers and white pelicans. They're usually cormorants mixed in with those. Now remember that you'll never see white pelicans in the trees. Like you'll see brown pelicans perched up in the bigger mangroves. That's where they nest. You'll never see white pelicans doing that for 2 reasons. One, they nest up north, so they all fly back to Canada or northern Michigan
Really?
to nest. But they actually don't have the kind of feet that can wrap around a branch.
Oh.
There's a name for that, which I can never remember. The brown pelicans do, so you'll see them in the trees, the cormorants, all those. The white pelicans cannot do that.
Wow, that's
Aren't
great.
going to see them in the trees.
Wow, that's awesome to know that.
You see them down at eye level.
Yeah, that's so cool. I never really realized that.
This is also probably a beach where we get horseshoe crabs nesting. They come in during the high tides on the full moon and the new moon. At least in our area, they seem to like the new moons better, maybe because it's darker.
Yeah.
And they'll come into the beaches right at the high tide line, which here is probably way up here. And the female will excavate a shallow nest and begin laying. She'll lay thousands of eggs. And
Wow.
for that. The male is actually attached to her. And the primary male will be right at the back of her shell, and then there can be satellites on the side. She can have 7 or 8 males attached to her.
Holy,
The impressive
wow.
thing that I find,
She's sexy.
Sometimes they will stay attached for as long as I can't even imagine that. They'll nest various times during that period. And one reason that they lay so many eggs is that they are the fuel of champions. Those eggs are very fatty, keeps the raccoons from preying on all of our different wildlife, including horseshoe crab eggs. And
Oh.
they stay in the sand about 30 days, and then they'll all curl en masse. I've never seen that part. I keep hoping I'll get to see it. These little tiny horseshoe crabs will crawl out. It
Oh,
takes them
wow.
about 8 or 9 years to mature and have a hard shell where they can breed. They can live easily 30 years. We're just learning about them in South Florida. They have them all along the East Coast from all the way up, I think around at least Maryland, and from all of around the coast of Florida and along the Gulf Coast all the way to Texas. And I believe it's all either the same species or very closely related. The reason that they're measuring the population is because they're harvested for the medical industry, because horseshoe crab blood is copper-based. It's very sensitive to, I say, biologics, bacteria. And so every injectable is tested with horseshoe crab blood, and they're allowed to capture them. They stay out of the water about 72 hours. They take them to facilities. I've seen pictures where they prop them up and they're bled out. They take about 30% of their blood.
Oh,
and then
my
they return
God.
it to the water. And one of the reasons that we're doing a sampling program, and it's growing all the time, is to try to figure out what is the normal population. How much does it fluctuate? The species is literally millions of years old, so it has lots of adaptive. Like we lost a lot of them during the red tide.
Oh, right.
But
Okay.
they lay a lot of eggs, and so they have an ability to reproduce. So
That's awesome.
generally, it's fall and spring when they nest, and the water temperature now in the 60s is probably a little chilly. We're almost at a full moon right now.
Yeah.
And so if you look at the tide tables and you see something called a coefficient, I never knew what that was. It never seemed to affect me, but they seem to come in higher numbers when the coefficient is the highest, which is actually a way to measure the difference between the high and the low tides. So the coefficient is way up there on Saturday or Sunday night, like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm trying to figure out how I can adjust my nighttime drug regimen so I can be coherent enough at 1 o'clock to go walk our stretch of beach.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure I can figure that out, but because the tide at night through parts of the year is a whole foot higher than the tide during the day, the high tide during the day. And our tides are much lower here on the west coast than they are on the east coast. They get much bigger fluctuations than we get here. But that's enough, we still want to be watching that coefficient because we'd like to tag them and then follow where they go. And we've tagged around 50, but that's not nearly enough. We never recaptured a single horseshoe crab that we had tagged.
Oh, wow.
So we need to get a lot more tags so we can start following their movements. And
Yeah.
then there's a way, if you happen to see one with the tag, take a picture of it with your phone, and then go online with Florida Wildlife Commission and look for how to turn in that number. And right now it's just generic. They can't tell you. The tagging program can't tell you where we tagged it. If it was one of mine, I could tell you where and when it was tagged. But the state site is just sending out generic certificates saying it was released, and they give you like 8 locations, which covers the entire peninsula of Florida. So, if I can look to see if it's one of our sequences and see if we released it.
That's cool.
Maybe it'll get more sophisticated as they get more of that in the computer.
Yeah.
'Cause we send our data to Florida Wildlife Commission. That's who this is being done for, and they're keeping track of what we're.
Yeah.
And because I was so curious and I was tired of walking the beach and never seeing any horseshoe crabs, I started looking at when we did see them and what the conditions were, and realized it was new moons and whichever the highest tide was, which was often at night. And we came out, my next door neighbor is a night owl, she came with me, and we found like 70 or 80 in the middle of the night one night. So we know they're coming, they just may not be coming when they want us to be sampling.
Right.
So we're still figuring that out.
Wow, thanks for sharing all that. Marsha, tell our friends what you do for a living.
Well, I'm a retired forester from the U.S. Forest Service, and when I moved to Florida, I knew nothing, and I missed having a woodlot to wander in because I'd always lived on a national forest and had all sorts of places to wander with my dogs. So I started converting my backyard into a natural area. Now I pretty much have my own preserve in the backyard.
Oh, that's
And I went
awesome.
ahead and got the training as a Florida Master Naturalist.
Oh, cool.
Which is 5 to 7 courses.
Yeah.
a lot of it was repeat from the basic science that I
From
knew
stuff
as a
you already
forester,
knew, right?
but it was oriented to Florida, and even that much time, it's still just an introduction.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to sort out every bird that's out there,
Yeah.
you know, we may have seen them on a slide that flashed off. You have to
Right.
come out and sit there and say, okay,
This
it's
is
not
that.
breeding season, so we're looking at non-breeding birds, although we're moving up on breeding season. So it's just a beginning.
Yeah.
And I lead tours for the Sierra Club, although, you know, for a year we've been out of that business.
Yeah, right.
And for another meetup group, none of it for pay.
Okay.
And
Well,
we
you
need
know.
to test our aging brains. I've never been any
Right.
good at crossword puzzles, so trying to remember the facts that I like.
This
to
does
share
it for you, for sure.
Yeah. It's,
Well, thank you so much, and we all really appreciate you leading us out here in a great, safe manner. So,
it took
thanks,
me years
Marsha.
after I had been here on that camping trip to be brave enough to come out here again, because I really didn't know my way. That had been my first time. And then Sharon or Pat and I came out, and I realized it's a straight shot from
Yeah.
where we launched.
Yeah,
to come out
it
here.
was
And then
pretty
Sharon
easy.
and I and another girlfriend came out on our own, so now I realize
Yeah.
it's just that there is a lot of shallow water in this bay.
Yeah, and you got to know where it is.
And, well, you're going to end
Or
up walking.
or walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. I think we're ready to go back out into the water.
Yeah, go down.
Go down a little
Go
bit,
around.
down and round. Awesome. That was a great afternoon of paddling out to Shell Key. We started the day around 11:30, and it's 3 o'clock, so it was a very long day on the water. It was beautiful, and I'm very happy that I got to kayak in the ocean, and I'm really happy that it wasn't very choppy out there today, so it was pretty easy. But it was long paddling. My arms are tired. How about GP? What do you think? He already said as soon as we got in the car, you want to go do that again sometime? I was like, yeah, I do, but maybe not the way Marsha took us, maybe out and back. She took us the nice long way, which was really cool. We got to see a lot of different things, and it was really nice having her along to tell us more about Shell Key, and she's a really interesting lady, and I appreciate all my time spent with her. It's not very often that I get to see her. All right, that is it for today. Signing off from St. Pete. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Thanks for watching today, friends. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hope to see you again next time. Have a great day. Bye!